Is there a right time to move on? This is Inner Thoughts, where we talk about things that can't normally be said. When it comes to moving on, in the case of a relationship, whether it be romantic or just platonic, is there a right time to move on? If you've been with someone for, let's say, 5 years, do you have to wait 2 years before you can move on to the next person? In my opinion, moving on doesn't have a necessary time frame, regardless of what society tells you. Moving on is you should be able to move on almost immediately. However, when it comes to re-entering that sort of exclusivity status when it comes to partners, or when it comes to re-entering that depth when it comes to platonic relationships, that is where you should take the time, not necessarily to feed a requirement that someone else sets upon you, but to almost nurture yourself back to a state where you learn from the lessons of your previous relationship, or you're able to be more functionable as a person that can provide someone else for someone, as a person that can provide in a relationship. All of this is to really just say that moving on doesn't have a minimum time limit. A lot of people check out and move on the moment a relationship ends or a friendship ends. And others, it takes years because they haven't really processed anything until that break. While in my first example, the person that got over it almost instantly has had 2 years to process it. No one can dictate how fast you can move on. At the end of the day, it's a choice. But if you're seeing this video today and you're finding it hard to move on, or you saw someone who just moved on really fast, I think a very valid question to ask, rather than are they moving on too fast? I think that instead of asking, are they moving on too fast? You should ask, what did they do to get to this point? Because everyone has a process. Some people move on just to hold face, while others moved on because they've processed that face. They've processed their previous faces. They've processed what it's like to be in this situation. And from my experience, sometimes the length doesn't mean anything. It's always the choice and the realizations and the acceptance of the lessons and loss that shows you're ready.